All right. Dead Man's Tone Podcast. Your hosts, Mr. Deadman, Becky, and SK. How is it going?
Hey.
I'll let you know as soon as these handcuffs come off.
Oh, shit.
What?
That kind of night?
No, officer, I didn't do it.
Oh, it was the officer this time. I thought it was maybe some embarrassing date story or something. Some horrible date night story.
Well, typically handcuffs are not those kinds of stories.
I don't know. Unless it's a good date, you know what I'm saying?
The link you wanted, Jesse, is in the our chat on Skype.
Okay, cool. I'll take a look at that. Oh, by the way, we have a guest.
We do.
Becky, who's our guest tonight?
God, you keep hiding them.
Our guest is an amazing writer. He's absolutely brilliant. One of the smartest guys I have ever met in my entire life. And you could sit and talk to this man for hours, and he has been told that he is one of the best looking guys in horror.
What?
His name is Dallas Mullican. Yep.
Yeah, is that like being the smartest guy in detention?
No. It's much better.
Also told Becky not to quote my mom.
The best looking guy in horror. Okay.
Yep. And if you don't believe me, ask Tina Marie.
Okay. Well, is it gonna be like a what on? Is it gonna be on like Cemetery Dance or something? Is it gonna be posing for that? Do they do that now?
For their calendar? I don't know. Do they do that? That would be cool. Can we do that?
I did some stripping back in college, and I was not making any money at it, and I was going to quit, and the owner of the place told me, he said, you just need a gimmick, you can make some money, just come up with a cool gimmick. So I put a sweet potato down my Speedos and called myself Sweet Potato. And the first performance, I came off the stage, and the owner grabbed me by the arm, and he said, put it in the front, you idiot.
That's what she said.
Something Jesse would do.
You're going for the diaper crowd or something. Man, you're playing another game. Oh, man.
For the geriatric crowd.
Yeah. There's a whole fetish for that. Apparently, they even have books like that on Amazon. You don't want to ask how I know. That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, I've seen your browser history.
Oh, damn. And you agreed to come on the show? Oh.
Exactly. That's why I came on the show.
Whoa. Oh, man.
I thought it was because I was on the show that you came on. I mean, you know.
You were part of his browser history.
Ah.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Now, I won't tell you what keywords it had beside your name either.
Oh, no. Don't.
And how to be quiet. How to make her quiet.
And ladies and gentlemen, I purge my browser history, but this is the thing you need to know. You need to delete everything, like everything.
Yeah, I said, screw. I don't have a living will. I said, just make sure somebody purges the browser history on my computer when I die.
Delete the hard drive.
Delete it all. All right, ladies, gentlemen, our show tonight, we have for you. We'll be sharing some embarrassing stories, talk about horrible dates, maybe. Talk about what criminal actresses. We have some actresses that are pleading guilty to things. Obviously, talk about what Mr. Mullican does and his body of work. And talk about, just pretty much have a conversation and see where it takes us. So let's just start with that, really. All right, Mr. Mullican.
Yes, sir.
What do you do?
What is your favorite color?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Pink.
Black.
It's pink.
Yeah, my favorite color is the absence of all colors.
Oh.
Black.
Oh, I thought that was pink.
Although I think that's a myth. Black is a color. It's not just the absence of color.
Yeah.
Well, it depends if you're talking in pigment or light. Right?
If we're talking a color, like the color of a shirt or a car or whatever, that is a color. It's not just
A color of, yeah. Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's... See, I never really understood that. It's like, you're like, well, it's the absence of color, but it's still a color, right? I mean, like how is... it's just weird.
Don't they say that white is all colors and black is no color or something?
Well, if you're talking about the spectrum and in reflection of photons, then absolutely true. The white is the full spectrum of visible light, and black is the absence of reflected light.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm talking about what looks good with my King Diamond Abigail cover on it.
Oh, you're something like that. So that would just be black. Like, yeah. All right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, for those who don't know who you are you and what do you do?
I am, God, that's a good question. How do we define who we are?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, everyone loves that question.
Are we really here? Although I read an article the other day that has confirmed, scientists have confirmed that we are not living in a computer simulation, so I feel much better.
Wait.
Well, of course the computer would say that.
Yeah, you didn't trust AI?
Really, it has a vested interest in there, an agenda thing.
Right.
But it's smart enough to know that it doesn't want us.
Yeah, I don't think we should trust AI on this, guys. I really don't.
Yeah, I think there's an agenda there.
If there's an AI that's smart enough to create the universe, it's smart enough to not be detected by our level of intelligence.
Mm-hmm. Most certainly. I agree. I mean, right? I mean, who in their right mind would trust that?
I hope.
But, see, now I'm stuck thinking about that. Dang it.
Oh, good Lord, what done.
What does it mean
to be
alive? What does it mean to be alive, guys? What does it mean? What is
Jesse's
our purpose?
trying to think. That's going to be the end of the show.
I smell smoke. No.
that new black hole is, encroaching upon our podcast here, sucking us all in.
Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Okay.
On the plus side,
to be alive, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
it's coming true about black holes, and the 1%ers having to bribe their kids' way into college, and
yeah, and someone even pleaded guilty. Yeah, someone even pleaded guilty about that.
Actresses,
yeah,
6 rings from little-known characters that you've never heard of. Of course, hey, she needed the money, so give her a break.
Yeah, right. I mean, she's not getting any acting gigs, no big ones anymore. She has to make money somehow.
Exactly. I mean, I think we label people too quickly.
Yeah.
So what if she wants to be a sex
slave? All the
slave?
time. They say, you know what? You're a criminal, and you're going to jail.
Yeah.
We all do a lot. We all do a lot of shady things for cash sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What's the big deal?
Either that or just experimenting in college. But never mind. Let's change the subject.
No. Wait a minute. We want to know what you've done that was shady for cash.
Yeah, let's share those stories.
Yeah.
If it hadn't been for the blood bank and the sperm bank, I would have starved a long time ago.
Oh, there's a bank for that? Shit.
I think
Damn
actually,
it, Dallas.
I think you might have done better if you'd robbed a regular bank.
Oh. Are you kidding? The amount I donate. I'm sorry.
Oh, God.
I mean, it's just a personal thing for me, but I'd go for the cash at a traditional bank. I don't know what you do with the deposits at the other places.
Yeah, incarceration just I'm not big on it.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
Speaking of, are you married?
Closed-in spaces with... No, I've already been.
No.
Oh, so you're free now.
But, yeah, God, why do you think I'm asexual now?
Yeah, it sucks no matter where you go, how you go. Oh, you get the ball and chain no matter how. Man.
But you asked me a question earlier, and I went totally somewhere else.
Yeah, we did. We do that sometimes. We do that
I
sometimes.
evaded the question. I evaded the question while answering the question.
Hey, that's okay. That happens. That happens. But interesting though, touching about people who are pleading guilty to things. These criminal actresses. We could talk about that real fast because we talked about what the what's her name? Felicia Hoffman. She pleaded guilty.
Felicity.
Huffman.
Felicity. I'm sorry.
No, Felicity Huffman.
Huffman. My bad.
No, that's the one that was doing the sex thing, or is that the one with a...
No, the college thing.
The college thing.
Oh, yeah, I had a crush on her. There, she was in a movie called Secret Admirer, way back in the day. I had a huge crush on her for that movie. But then I lost track of her and never heard of her again until she shows up in the news over this.
Yeah, right. Does she still look good? I haven't really followed her.
Well, she was on Full House too, right?
Oh, that's right, her. Okay.
Lori Loughlin.
Yeah,
So
okay.
that's Lori Loughlin. That's the one. Yeah, Felicity's the one that's married to Macy, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. Oh, I'm looking at him now. Yeah.
Now, I like Macy. Good actor, but I don't know much about the actor. He's not caught up in it, is he?
I think he might be. Oh, I mean, how would he not be? I mean, how would he not know if they're
Do you know what your wife's doing? Obviously. I hope not.
Her husband.
I hope not.
Her
husband.
husband.
Just left here.
Her husband, William H. Macy, has not been charged by federal prosecutors as of right now.
Bullshit. Yeah, that's crap. That's crap. He had to know. He hadn't. There's no way. Everyone knew. What? But the thing is, even after all this.
Hey, honey, I need to go shopping. Can I have 500,000? You don't need to know what it's for. Yeah, whatever.
Wow. Yeah. But I mean, why plead guilty? I mean, is she going to do any time or anything? Is it just you're just going to slap on the wrist? I mean,
I'm not
what's
sure
really going to happen?
Realizes, they're used to getting paying away out of everything, and I know that's casting a wide net, but I think that's pretty normal. That maybe I watch too many movies that rich people often get out of things that poor people would not get out of. So I'm not sure they take it seriously until they actually get hit with something. So if she's, goes to the federal penitentiary for a couple of years or something, it can be a different story. But
no, that's not going to happen.
Pay a fine or something, and that'll be the end of it.
I mean, the lawyers certainly would have given her lawyers and the prosecutors certainly would have had some discussions about possible deals.
Mm-hmm. You bet your ass they would. Bet your ass they did.
In the great scheme of things, do you really want that kind of person, in jail taking up space that violent criminals could take up? I mean, they'll end up doing community service and paying a big fine.
I mean, look at Jussie Smollett. I mean,
she could be a really bad influence. She might think that she's going to get on Orange Is the New Black if she's inside.
Probably.
Some street cred.
Mm-hmm. Maybe that's her angle. Maybe that's the thing. I mean, Fuller House is a Netflix thing now. Maybe she's getting some ideas. I don't know.
I swear to God, I want to hear detailed conversation of how these two women were sitting around with their glasses of Chardonnay going, well, our kids are kind of morons. How are we going to get them into USC?
Mm-hmm.
Well, let's just pay for it.
She was married to John Stamos. Hadn't she suffered enough? Come on.
I mean, how do you start the conversation with somebody about a criminal activity? This is something that's always fascinated me. So two people who have never been convicted or charged with anything suddenly decide, and which is, by the way, the subject of many TV series, suddenly decide they want to commit a crime. And the thing that's the most interesting to me is, how do you start that conversation?
It's apparently not that hard. There's going back. I mean, look at all the athletes and the colleges that have got in trouble for shady dealings, and athletes who have signed with agents. But apparently it's not that hard to figure out how to do a crime. I mean, you want to get your heroin or your oxy or whatever. There's somebody in town that's going to tell you how to get there. Crime's not that difficult, really.
And
it looks like.
Go ahead, Becky.
It looks like to me, from reading this, and I could be really wrong, that they ask about the daughter's stats, her scores on the SATs.
Yeah.
And they paid someone $15,000, giving the girl a 400-point boost over her previous score.
To change the scores or to take the test?
To change the scores?
This one is to correct her daughter's answers on the SAT. Giving the girl a score of over 400-point boost on the previous score. And then she asked...
Oh my God. So they didn't just, hire some brainiacs to sit for the test. They went right to the fucking SAT people and said, would you mind doing me a small little 400-point favor?
Just a small favor.
Then it says, then they later discussed pursuing a similar scheme for her younger daughter.
Of course.
Well,
because it worked for a little while, right? Sorry.
You can't have little Miss Rich Girl going to community college. Come on, guys. Y'all are just unfair.
The thing of it...
Shit.
So you don't have to know anything about this daughter, this poor girl who is now... Her life is like wrecked, right? Forever, she's going to be that girl.
Well, but is it though? We'll see.
But here's the thing: is you don't have to know her personally to know that she's not very bright because her mom is an idiot.
Well, she doesn't know
her
how to
mom
bribe.
is a moron. She doesn't know how to bribe. There are legal and accepted ways of bribing your kids into college that have been practiced for centuries.
Well, I went to college. I have 2 bachelor's degrees and a master's degree. I have $50,000 in student loan I'll probably never be able to pay off. Do you think I resent people like these?
No. Yeah.
No. I understand.
You see all those buildings with people's names on them around campus? That's how you do it.
Yeah.
That's how you bribe a college. Well, it's a sense of entitlement that not all, I don't want to cast a wide net, but a lot of these richer people think. You think back to, and I love the guy. I love to watch him play you into this day, but like Tiger Woods, what he went through, it was just a sense of entitlement that I'm rich, I'm famous, I've earned this. This isn't anything I'm doing wrong. I've earned this. Mm-hmm. That's what they believe. They think, that I deserve this. My kids deserve this because I've worked hard. I pay more taxes than anybody else does. This is my right.
Yeah.
It's pretty sickening, but that's the mindset of a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That happens.
And then her kids sitting around on, whatever, saying how much she doesn't want to go to college, how much she hates college, and thinks it's stupid while her mom's bribing college officials to get her into Ivy League or something.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a really bad investment. And this goes for any parent out there. Whether you're bribing your child's way into, a formerly great college or not.
Mm-hmm.
If they don't want to be there, you're wasting your fucking money.
That's right. I mean, they have to earn it. They have to want to be there. They have to.
I actually told my daughters when they were in high school, I said, look, if you don't feel like going to college right after school, wait until you do feel like going. And they both put it off until their early 30s, and they did fantastic.
Well, the thing for, it's different for the rich like that. Those kids are going to inherit tons of money and never need it. But for everybody else, education is the great equalizer. It's the thing that makes regardless of social class where you started, there's really not a spit's worth of difference between people if they have the same level of education. So
right.
That's why this makes a mockery of that.
Of course.
That whole ethic of working hard and learning and bettering yourself, really doesn't mean anything. As long as you got a little cash, that's all that matters. And we measure everything.
My question.
Your question,
sorry.
Becky?
My question is this.
Yeah.
How deep is the ocean?
Why in the hell
would the ocean be if sponges didn't live there? Is that your question?
Oh, that's a good question. No, I want to know what they fill basketballs with if we didn't have air.
Yeah.
But,
yeah. No, my question is this. Why would you pay for your child to go to school if they didn't want to go in the first place? Why didn't you just buy them a damn degree? Because,
you can do that.
That would have been a little cheaper.
Certainly cheaper to forge a diploma.
Mm-hmm. And if you're going to lie and cheat, you might as well just go all the way, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, if you're going to do bad, you might as well just go all the way. Don't just do a little bad. Go all the way bad. All the way.
But Dallas brings up a good point, and to extend on it, part of the problem that we have in this country is a belief that college and education are the same thing. School and education very rarely cross paths.
Right.
And schooling is probably the worst way to learn something out of,
I'm an academic first and foremost. I think it's incredibly important, but what it does, soft experience is one kind of it, education, but learning how to think and think critically, learning how to use logic, these things are incredibly important. If you read our
absolutely
news, we have completely lost the ability to do these things. Everybody's entitled to their own set of facts,
you can't teach what you don't know.
Yeah, and when I was teaching 101 and 102 English in college, God, think of that as being literary, but we'd start with different things. And one of the first assignments I would give the students is to complete this sentence. I feel very strongly, whatever. I feel very strongly abortion is wrong. I feel very strongly in a woman's right to choose. Whatever. Fill that in, and then they had to write a paper proving the opposite of whatever they wrote. And they were graded based on how convincing their argument was. And so until you understand the other side and you understand how to think, how to lay out an argument, then we're just running around in circles, screaming at each other. So I think academic.
Do they still do that in college? I
don't
think they do.
College is getting a bad rap because people want to say, it's just brainwashing, liberal brainwashing or whatever. Well, those people probably didn't go to college because no, it's not.
Well, there's gender studies and stuff where I don't think they allow you to question the other side. I remember there's classes where it's they teach you one thing, and if you were to raise questions...
Been in classes that actually told you what you had to think and how you had to answer questions.
Yeah.
I never have. And I went for 6 years, and I've never had a class where an instructor told me what I had to say and how I had to think.
Well, you were probably really good at avoiding them.
No, they can. All good professors that I know teach you how to think about things, not what to think. And I've had some very passionate teachers, but they, I don't. And granted, I was in philosophy and English literature and all, but I took classes, that focused on women authors, and I took classes that focused on minority authors and stuff, but it still wasn't trying to make you think that somebody was superior to somebody else or anything like that. It was just dedicating a time because, just like you would dedicate time periods, like a study of all the authors between the wars, Hemingway, Faulkner, all the rest of those people. It's just, different people think different ways given what time period they were, what ethnic backgrounds they come from, and we can learn a tremendous amount from all those different, diversity is a good thing in almost every way. I don't know. So I'm off my soapbox.
No. This is good. More people need to hear this, Dallas. More people need to hear this. This is extremely profound and very, has a lot of nuance to it. I think the problem is a lot of people don't, I guess, look at it this way.
I'm going to give it a try. You got to be able to use your words, though, Jesse.
Yeah? Well, at least, express that you may not know everything, and I don't know, just consider the other side on things. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Anyone who professes absolute certainty about almost any subject scares the hell out of me.
Oh, yeah.
And they're almost certainly wrong.
Oh, yeah. I mean, then you may
I've come to the conclusion that the more certain a person is, the more likely they are to be wrong.
To me, it's the best. It's the best possible answer given the best current evidence. That's what's true, and that can change because you're basing it on the evidence you can gather right now.
Yeah.
And you may get better evidence down the road somewhere. You have to keep your mind open to that. But if you make up your mind right now based on whatever it is, that's what my family taught me, that's what my teachers taught me, that's what a preacher or some book taught me, and I'm sure positive forever and that this is the way it is. Anybody who doesn't agree with this is wrong. You just put yourself in a hole, back yourself into a corner.
Yeah.
The problem with that, I mean, I absolutely agree. And I think the reason why people are drawn to absolutes and certainty is because it makes them feel safe.
Oh, yeah. It's very comforting.
It's very comforting. I know these boundaries. And as long as I stay within those boundaries, I know that, that's safe to me. Whereas if you're going around questioning shit, that's really uncomfortable for a lot of people.
No, we don't like unknowns. Humans as a race have never been really fond of unknowns.
Right.
Or things that are different. We've never liked either one of those things very much. So we'll fill in the gaps in our knowledge with some pretty crazy things.
Hey, Dee, we had a question in the chat.
Okay.
I see that Mr. Mullican enjoys Shakespeare. What is his favorite play?
Oh, yeah, I love Willie. I go with something cliche as Macbeth. I love all the tragedies the most and the histories. I'm not real big on the comedies, even though, oddly enough, some of the things we think of as tragedies were actually comedies. Like Romeo and Juliet was written as a comedy, not a tragedy.
Yep.
Shakespeare was making fun of young love and love at first sight and how everything just goes crazy, so it was a spoof on that. But Titus Andronicus is pretty sweet.
Well, Titus?
Anytime you can.
Oh my God, that's heavy shit, man.
Somebody, cutting off of limbs and shoving sticks into the stump for a hand. I mean, that's sweet. And then Macbeth, of course, is a huge favorite. King Lear, I love. If you've ever seen the minimalist version with Surrey and Home playing King Lear, oh gosh.
So, is it Amazon or Netflix that has a new King Lear set in modern time.
Amazon had one with Anthony Hopkins.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, it's okay. I mean,
Okay.
it's okay. It's the problem with doing Shakespeare is that even the old stuff like Laurence Olivier and Orson Welles is most all of those movies and productions have maybe 33% of the lines in them.
Right.
So unless you go see stage plays, you rarely get it. Now Kenneth Branagh does some amazing movies. He did Hamlet, and he did the entire 4.5 hours.
He did the entire thing, and it wasn't all bleak and dark visually. It was bright.
It was beautiful. Yeah, but I mean, just amazing soundtrack, and even had like Robin Williams and Billy Crystal had some minor roles in it and stuff. So, yeah, I would highly recommend seeing that one.
I really enjoyed his take on Much Ado, and the casting that he did on that. I mean, very bold casting, I thought.
Yeah, even the Othello he did with Lawrence Fishburne. I mean, Kenneth was just really good with the Shakespeare's.
Cool.
That's cool. That's cool.
Kelly said that she saw Titus at the Globe.
Mm-hmm.
The original?
She's going to kick your ass, SK.
She probably did,
burned down a couple of years ago. Yeah, I think the Globe burned down maybe 1 or 2 years ago, or 200 years ago, maybe it was.
See, that's what I thought.
Did they rebuild the Globe? Or is there another theater with that
I'm not
name
sure.
now?
No,
I believe so. Yeah.
I like what Kelly says, though. She says, I learn a lot about him when I know his favorite Shakespeare play.
Mm-hmm.
Is there truth to
She's
that?
right.
Is there truth to that? You know a lot about someone based on their favorite Shakespeare play?
I mean, to me, when you know what their favorite movies, their favorite music, and especially what they read, more so than anything, you do get a good idea of how they think, what their philosophies are, their ideologies are. You know, yeah, I think you can get a good vibe of that. If somebody says the only movie they've ever watched is Dumb and Dumber about 5 billion times, well, you know, they may have a good sense of humor, but they're not very bright.
Yeah.
You know, I had an argument with somebody today over Kubrick, you know, and people can have issues with Stanley Kubrick and not like his work, find it pretentious or whatever. But, you know, some of the reasoning is often just because they don't understand it and they've never taken the time to want to understand or see anything from a deeper than just surface entertainment. And I often have trouble with those people. Not that there's anything wrong with just enjoying entertainment and escapism and what you do and all, but that's just so far alien from why I enjoy the art that I have trouble understanding it sometimes. But, yeah, she's exactly right. You can tell a lot about people about what they enjoy and how deeply they understand what they enjoy.
I agree.
Yeah, there's truth to that. Yeah. It could also be that, you know, if they don't know anything about it, it could be just, you know, they're ignorant about that one area. They might show their, I guess, intellect or, I guess, you know, shades of their personality through other genres. That might happen. But I don't know. Because I'm thinking about that now.
Yeah, I mean, if you like Britney Spears or whatever, that doesn't, or Taylor Swift or whatever, that doesn't mean you're stupid.
Thank you. Finally.
It strongly implies it.
Oh,
it doesn't.
Son of a...
It's not a mark in your favor. But...
Hey, you don't make fun of her. Taylor Swift is a fine lady. No.
Well, I guess she's going to break up with you, and her next album will be about you. So.
If only.
It'll be your claim to fame.
Are you gonna? Have you decided if you're gonna sign over Dead Man's Tome to her for her next album title?
If she would take it, yes.
Hell no. No.
Are you kidding? I would ride that wave. Shit.
She wouldn't know what I don't think she would know what a tome is.
No, a lot of people
It's
don't.
where,
She would
it's
not.
where they keep the mummy.
Did-
That's tomb.
yeah, I get that. You know what, man? This originally it was actually called demonic tome back in the day, like years ago. I had a the publishing thing was called demonic tome, and I tried to promote it locally through coffee shops or whatever, and people will be like, demonic to me? I'm not gonna put this up here. I'm like, no, it's demonic tome. And never mind the fact there was a pentagram on it, and it was like inverted and had like this wicked looking thing on it. They're like, we're not gonna put this up here. I'm like, what's wrong with it? This is demonic to me. I'm not gonna put this up here. I'm like, no, it's a demonic tome. But
Which is two more things that leads me to two other things that really piss me off is the use of and of course I'm a metal guy. I've been into metal most of my life, but the use of pentagrams and the Baphomet and stuff like that is satanic. None of that stuff's satanic. It's just totally irritating. I guess it's just become the norm, and it's a cool imagery and stuff.
Oh, I use that because it's cool imagery. I was definitely doing that.
All of that stuff was, pagan. Most of all of it was fertility stuff.
Now I do know that but they inverted the pentagram to make what Satanism did that though. Is that right?
Well, no, not really. I mean, most everything was taken from when the Catholic Church moved into Western Europe. They started to assimilate the Brits and the Picts and all of the other tribes, Germanic tribes that were up in that region, and they would, in order to assimilate them more easily, they would often keep elements of their belief systems. So like the Easter Bunny is incorporated into the celebration of Easter, but that's after a German goddess, a fertility goddess. The rabbit, of course, a symbol of fertility. Then you get the Christmas tree that comes from the Norse hanging the heads of their enemies on the evergreen tree as a tribute to Odin. And so putting ornaments on the Christmas tree, that's where that comes from. So all of that kind of stuff, all the way. Baphomet's just totally made up. I think Baphomet was made up by Aleister Crowley. It doesn't even exist in history.
I see.
All that, and you see stuff like that. The other thing that really pisses me off is in horror movies when they use snakes that are not poisonous to represent poisonous snakes because it's easier. God, that irritates me. You have like a little ball pythons rolling around. Everybody's like, oh, God, it's going to bite me.
You know who didn't do that was Michael Crichton in Westworld.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
He actually used rattlesnakes, and he in his autobiography-ish book called Travels, he talked about shooting those things. It was a pretty funny story. Where they had
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, they couldn't get him to bite all day long. They start off, they've got these huge, plexiglass barriers around, and everybody's way backed up, and they're trying to get these like one or two shots of a striking rattlesnake. And he said, by the end of the day, people are just walking right over the top of him, not even caring anymore.
Look at that.
I loved Vikings, and I was so excited that they were going to kind of follow the ancient forms of the Norse, and that Ragnar would eventually be thrown into the snake pit in Mercia the same way that he actually was in history, or pseudo-history, what we know of it. And then when they throw him down in there, they got freaking like reticulated pythons there from goddamn Africa. I mean, where are you going to get a reticulated python or Burmese python in northern Umbria and England when it's 40 degrees? I mean, oh, God. I'm just screaming at the television.
Yeah.
Me and the little piggies were both crying when the boar died.
Aww. So, Mr. Mullican, how long have you been writing?
I wrote some short stories and poetry and stuff back in high school, and then went to college and all of that. Just fell in love with literature. But then I took a detour. I was in music and a singer, and I wrote a lot of lyrics. And what we did was kind of progressive music, progressive thrash. So it was very pretentious lyrics, just like everything else I do. So I did that for 20 years, and then when that ended, I needed a new creative outlet, and preferably one that didn't require me getting along with 4 other guys. So I went into writing then. So I've only really been seriously writing for a couple of years, 2 or 3 years.
Okay. And do you write mostly horror?
No, I don't really think of myself as a horror guy.
Okay.
There's elements of horror in what I write.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
The Marlowe Gentry series I have right now, I would call more psychological thrillers, suspense. I guess I'm much more into the horror that humans do, and the human mind. These characters who are facing incredible hardships, and how that can take them in either a way that rises above it or succumbs to it. How these different people deal with different things, and I often use things like a serial killer or these other ways of bringing these people together and making them face some pretty horrendous decisions. But it interests me more the overarching themes and stories. I hope I walk the line of where people can just read it and enjoy a good serial killer type book, or a book about children being abducted or something. But if they want to, then the other things are there as well. There's lots of symbolism and foreshadowing and all that, all that pretentious gobbledygook that I learned in literature. So now I have a new book coming out that really is very self-indulgent and a bit autobiographical in ways, though all of the characters in the book are part of me. But it's much more on that literary vein, a dark literary vein. Maybe if you like stuff like House of Leaves or Elston's Coma or things like that, you would probably enjoy the music of Midnight. But it traces a lot of questions and things that I've gone through in my life, that in a very I don't know quite how to explain that, because it goes into this guy wakes up in a colossal tower, and he doesn't know how he got there, no idea who he is or what's going on, and this tower is filled with millions of rooms, and as he starts investigating the rooms, he finds his memories or fragments of thoughts or nightmares from his life, and so he slowly pieces together why he's here and what happened to shatter his mind through these glimpses into these rooms. So it's, I hope it's interesting to people, but it is very personal to me. It goes through dealing with my dad's death and a lot of other things that I dealt with over the course of my life that a lot of other people, I think, can relate to. But it's if you're triggered easily, if you have, anxiety and depression like I do, or some people may not want to read this book. Other people may find it very therapeutic, that other people have gone through what they've gone through, but it's not that. It's a little bit dreary. It's a little on the dreary, bleak, existential side.
That's okay. I mean, there's a time for that. And you said
I think this is the one that Beta read a little bit of before,
I believe you did read that one for me.
Oh, I want to read all of it now.
Are you going to read anything for us tonight?
I can, if you'd like, sure.
Yes, if you'd like.
A Coin for Crime is my first, book, Marlowe Gentry book, and it kind of goes into some horror aspects. It follows 4 different characters, and one of them is named Max, and Max he's not having a good time of it. He's been diagnosed with terminal brain cancer. He lost his job, and he's really down on his luck. His wife's leaving him because, and he won't tell her that he's got cancer, because he doesn't want her to stay around, out of obligation and pity. So poor Max, poor Max. He can't even get away from it when he's sleeping. And so this is a dream that Max gets trapped in. The smell of fresh pine filled his nostrils, cased in wood, the tight fit pressed against his prone body on all sides. The hard surface raking his hair and his toes, the lid an inch from touching his nose. Max panicked. Barely able to lift his hands, he placed his palms to the lid and pushed with all his strength. Dirt dribbled in around the pride cover, falling into his eyes and mouth. He gagged and shoved, a scream of desperation escaping with the exertion. The lid gave, bursting upward. He sat up, gasping for air. No more than a foot of earth had covered the coffin. 2 shovels lay beside a mound, the diggers having decided filling the hole not worth the effort. He climbed up from the grave and stood staring in disbelief. This couldn't be real. A dream, a nightmare, surely. No preacher presided over this funeral. No tombstone marked the place of rest. No flowers or footprints evidenced where mourners came to pay last respects. Pretty shabby turnout, said a raspy voice. He looked up toward the sound and saw a large crow gazing down, an amused aspect in its black probing eyes. What? Said Max, questioning his senses. Did you just speak? It wasn't the wind, bright boy. What is this? Why am I here? You're dead. Well, dead and not dead. Mostly dead. I don't understand. Humans. You're a slow bunch, aren't you? Your heart stopped beating. They put you in the hole, but your spirit ain't quite flown the coop yet, the crow said with as much of a sneer as a crow could sneer. What happens now? What do you have to do with this? I'm a guide, of sorts. I'm here to take you to the next plane. You're moving on up. But I can't. I'm not ready. No. What's left? Nothing. You had nothing, you got nothing. That's not true. I have to fix things with Maggie. I have to raise my boys. They need me. Let me enlighten you. Maggie marries a dentist, pretty well off, definite upgrade, no offense. Cody becomes a successful contractor, more or less a chip off the old block. That should make you happy. Austin becomes a decent professional golfer. Dentist's dad's a member of a country club. So, no worries. Everything turns out peachy, see? Max clenched his hands. No, I don't believe you. They need me. I know they do. This is already starting to bore me. You going or staying? I have to stay. Your call. Don't say I didn't warn you. The crow took flight, disappearing after a time beyond the distant horizon. Max sat on the loose dirt, unsure of what to do. He didn't know this place. Didn't know where he could go. The crow's words stung deep. Part of him wanted to crawl back into the grave. I'm pleased you decided to stay, said a different voice, gurgled as if spoken underwater. Max turned to see a monstrosity. It appeared vaguely human, but moved like liquid, black and oily. It flowed across the ground. He grabbed a rock and flung it at the thing. The stone passed through the figure, concentric ripples spanning out from where it struck. Now, no need for hostilities. Who are you? Max backpedaled. I thought I would return to my life. You will live what life remained to you. Final months of an insidious disease awaits you. As for me, I have many names. You will call me Pain. Wires barbed with razors shot up from the ground, entwining Max's arms and legs, pulling tight and anchoring him in place. He struggled to break the bonds, but the sharpened tips only dug deeper. Max screamed in torment. Pain drifted forward, the shadowy hand reaching out to touch Max's forehead, and all went black. When he opened his eyes, Max found himself strapped to a wooden beam, the shape of an X, legs spread, arms upraised. Pain stood near the far wall, placing instruments on a table. Terror filled Max. He tried to cry out, but no sound would come. Agony hit him then. The stump of a tongue rolled about the back of his throat. He gagged on the foul, coppery slime sliding down his throat. Thick, dried blood caked his chin and his chest. Pain approached, holding a bucket, sloshing with water, droplets splashing over the edge. He placed light fingers on Max's abdomen. Seeming pleased with the spot, he reached into the bucket and pulled out a slender, eel-like creature more than 6 feet long. The thing thrashed viciously as it swung inverted from Pain's hand. Pain held it out for Max to admire. It possessed no eyes, only 2 rows of needle-like teeth set in a large oval mouth. One row of teeth turned 180 degrees clockwise, the other the same degree of rotation counterclockwise. Max's imagination could not help but picture the wound such a bite would inflict, penetrating, tearing. Pain unsheathed a curved blade, set it against Max's skin, and drew it downward. At the scent of fresh blood, the ill thing gyrated madly. Payne shoved the ferocious creature into the open wound and grunted with satisfaction. Trapped in silence, Max's inaudible scream ripped through the ether, sending monsters and gods hiding their heads in fear of such terrible agony. For 1,000 years, Payne entertained Max with his tricks and delights. Each time Max felt certain there could be nothing worse, no worse torture, nothing more heinous to imagine, Payne proved him wrong. One day, Max found Payne gone and his restraints loosened. Leaning forward slightly, dumped him onto his face. The open door seemed 1,000,000 miles away, and the silver light beyond an appalling lie. He dragged himself toward the door, fingernails raking the floor for purges. Outside, he erupted into maniacal laughter. Under the full moon, surrounded by a forest he knew well, bloody and broken, Max wept.
Oh,
That's
wow.
it.
Whoa.
Poor Max.
That is incredible. Yeah. That is... Okay. Yeah. That stole the show. That's it.
No. Good night, everybody.
No.
I appreciate it.
All right. That was good. That was good. And what was the name of that book? The title?
A Coin.
A Coin for Karen.
Karen. All right.
And I put a link to it in the chat.
That's Karen with a CH, Jesse, not like, oh God, Karen.
Oh God, Karen.
Yeah.
Oh my Lord.
No, I got that much.
Okay,
much.
good. Just check it.
Because often you can go.
The boatman.
You know, people will say Sharon and Karen and Sharon and.
Yeah. The boatman. You know, I know that much.
Ferryman.
Yeah.
Yes.
The ferryman.
Ferryman. Yeah. Okay. You know what I'm saying, though.
Well, I'm glad you proved my point there, or at least vindicated me. Because I had some people tell me when I named it that was like, you know, a lot of people aren't going to know what in the world that means, and they're not going to be interested in the book because they don't know what the title means. So I'm like, I don't think you give people enough credit.
Right.
Especially readers. I think most people are going to know what a coin for Karen means.
I took all my humanity courses in college. You know.
Well, anybody who watches horror movies and stuff is
yeah.
a ferryman taking you to hell and
hell.
stuff. So.
They even have that reference in video games. Like I play a lot of Castlevania, or whatever, and the ferryman.
Yeah, he was in God of War too, wasn't he? I think.
I believe so. Yeah. So yeah, you know, you can't avoid it. It's gonna be there. Now, some people may not know, but guess what? They learn something. Oh, Kelly says you don't pay the ferryman. You don't. I thought it was. Oh, you put the coins.
You got to give him a. Yeah, you got to give him a coin to give.
I thought you have to give him a coin. Isn't that why they put the coins on the
eyes?
Eyes, yeah.
Well, that's what the reference is to in the book. Is our killer, Gabriel. That's one of the parts of his ritual is putting the coins on the eyes. It's not only Greek. A lot of other cultures put something on the eyes.
Oh, according to the song. Oh, okay. It's a song reference.
The Greeks are who we're known for. If you watch Game of Thrones, actually, they use that same idea with painting eyes on rocks and putting the eyes over so that the person can see in the afterlife. So, yeah, that idea has been used an awful lot. But my guy, Gabriel, he does a lot of different things. He cuts out the organs of the person. He puts the entrails and all at the top, and then he puts the liver and functioning organs next, and then the heart bisected, and then he writes these Greek words in blood beside each of the groupings. Symbolizes life, purpose, and death. So that's part of his ritual. He's a weird dude. His parents were messed up. His mom had schizophrenia, and she was trapped in this idea that she was sometimes she'd think she was a Shakespearean actress at the Globe. Sometimes she'd think she was a teacher in 18th century Victorian England. And so the way his dad is mute and deaf. So the only way poor Gabriel grows up learning how to speak and what is normal is through these parents who are pretty messed up. His mom, out of her mind. And he has 5 books, and they're pretty much his only entertainment. He has a copy of Edith Hamilton's Greek myths. He has the Iliad and the Odyssey. He has Virgil's Aeneid and the Bible. And he reads these constantly. They are main source of entertainment. And as he gets older and his own psychosis takes over, he starts blending Greek mythology and Christian mythology into one ideology. And, so Gabriel's a pretty weird dude, but he's a good guy. He's got a good heart. He's just killing lots of people.
Well, that happens to a lot of good people.
Yeah.
Well, he thinks the gods have given him the ability to identify people who no longer have the will to live. People who are either suicidal or terminally ill. And so he's doing them a favor by keeping them from, going to hell or whatever as a suicide or ending suffering that they can't seem to end themselves. So he thinks he's doing it.
He thinks he is. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I wanted to say, I'm looking at this, of course, on the Amazon, which everyone can see on the screen. This book is 5 stars, a solid 5 stars. No, sorry, 4.8, but still 50 customer reviews. This thing is rock solid, man.
The one three-star review I got, the guy said it was an excellently written and a good book, but it wasn't fantasy like he liked.
But really?
Where it's that stuff drives me crazy.
I was like, wow.
I like my Mustang, but it's really not the Camaro I thought it would be.
Then why even leave a review?
That was the movie. Yeah, Superman was the worst movie I've ever seen because it wasn't Batman.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. It's like,
what does it say? In my opinion, the author can write and write well. The story was good. I preferred the secondary characters to Marlowe, strangely enough. If you have anxiety, don't read this. I would recommend this book to lovers of thrilling murder mysteries and not to epic fantasies like me. 3 stars.
Wow.
Whatever.
I mean, do people understand what the rating system's for? I mean, I guess they don't. Like,
no. Do people understand?
Really crazy.
Question mark.
Do people understand question marks? No.
No, I mean, just that's the whole question.
Do people understand?
People understand.
My friend Sean Hump, I think, was the one that Christopher Mont. Somebody posted one the other day that the guy gave him like a 2-star review because it was a novel and not a book.
What?
Good Lord.
They had to be trolling. Had to be. I just can't.
No. You know what? I wouldn't put it past them. I wouldn't, because I've seen it personally where I received a 2-star review for someone reviewing the book, said it was good, but it was not the genre. Like, they don't read horror, so it's like, why are you even why?
So go ahead and read it, but don't review it.
Yeah.
If you don't like the genre, give it a try. I mean, you're judging the whole genre based on this one book, and you didn't expect to like it anyway. That's
well, you run that problem too with books like these Marlowe Gentry books. Because there's such a wide berth. You'll have Agatha Christie and stuff like that on the one end, and then you'll have Thomas Harris and Matthew Starling and people like that on the other end. And I'm closer to the Thomas Harris side of things. So you have to be careful how you describe things, even in the world of serial killer detective fiction and all. There's such a wide spectrum across there that it's often hard to describe it so people get it. So you can get some people that thought they were getting a Agatha Christie and hate it because it's too dark, and some of the subject matter they may not like, and it goes in the other direction too. But yeah, hopefully anybody that likes movies like Seven and Silence of the Lambs and stuff will enjoy.
Love those.
Books, I'd say my stuff is probably closer to how Brian Fuller did the series Animal. There's a lot of more of the that aesthetic kind of feel to my work than the straight linear story of Anthony Hopkins and stuff.
Okay. But the good takeaway is that even though the 3-star review is there, you don't seem to have any I haven't noticed any troll reviews. You know, some authors, they have a problem. I don't know, it's because of how they conduct themselves on social media. I don't know, probably, but they get some followers that like to just leave that 1-star review whenever they can for no good reason.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've been fortunate so far. The thing that's hurt me is the first book, when it came out, was with a different publisher. And at that time, the community, the algorithms of Facebook and the Facebook parties, it was a lot easier, it seems like then, to get reviews and even sales and stuff. And so, I had a lot of success. We'd all enjoy getting together and having the online release parties and stuff. I had 1,000 people at my first release party.
Oh, cool.
But now it seems like it's slowed down and gotten harder to get reviews and such than the first. But we're still working at it.
Yeah. Well, all of the bullshit reviews made that a lot harder.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I understand on Amazon's part to a degree, is they want to make sure they're authentic reviews, because they're not just doing books. They're talking about whether your new vacuum cleaner is any good or not. They don't want just a bunch of people working for the company coming in there saying how great it is.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, I understand that, but the pendulum never seems to swing to the middle. It's either way to the right or left.
Mm-hmm.
Every subject you can imagine. We never seem to get it just right.
No. We have another question in the chat. Do your books need to be read in order?
That depends a little bit. The main story, like in A Court for Crime, the main story is dealing with Gabriel, that particular serial killer, and his story is closed out by the end of that one. And then the next one deals with the heretic, a totally different situation. And the third one, October's Children, deals with the addiction of these 3 little girls in this town. And so all of those are self-contained mysteries or cases. But we also have Marlowe and his team and his life. And the first book, we know that before this book takes place, his wife was brutally murdered by this killer he was chasing, and his little girl was there and saw it happen, and she went catatonic for almost 2 years, just really messed up. And so all the books continue to see how Paige's little girl is adapting and how she's doing, how his new relationship is doing, and then how the other members of the team will get some backstory and some stories about them and their lives to, make them full characters that you know and care about, and you understand where they're coming from when they act certain ways. So, yeah, 2 different things. I would recommend reading them in order so you get that full experience of understanding.
I do too. That's what I was going to say. You don't have to.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to. You'll be okay, but I would recommend it too.
Okay. All right.
And the audiobook, if people like audiobooks, the first audiobook, the one for Coin for Car, should be coming out. It's in the quality check stage with Audible, so it should be going to iTunes and
pretty cool.
And Audible.
And did you narrate it yourself?
No, I did not. I got much.
You should have.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't think I could pull it off.
Kevin
Clay does it, and he's excellent. He's done stuff for a lot of different notable authors that you would recognize. What is that one guy's name that writes the zombie apocalyptic novels? They were real popular. Simon something. I don't remember.
I'm drawing blank too.
There's so many of them in there. I can't.
Right.
He's really good. I think he did an excellent job.
Oh, David Simpson?
No, it's not David Simpson. Let me see. I'm looking all about. It may not be.
Okay. Well, I do have a question. So, do you write full time?
Yeah. Well, for the most part. I won't get into sad stories and all, but I have Crohn's disease, and so I've had some problems with that over time. I'm doing a lot better. No need for pity. Everybody's got problems, but the bad thing is it's made, some elements of my life very difficult at times. But it's allowed me more to read a lot when I feel up to it a little better. So anybody who has or knows about that disease, it can be problematic.
I don't know much about it. I had a friend in high school.
My mom had it.
Yeah, I just know a friend who had it. I mean, he was always complaining about it. I mean, he seemed like it caused him a lot of problems, but he had the best weed though. He would self-medicate that way.
We have like a little group of them. Of like writers on Facebook, things like it's like every other person I meet now has it. It's
right.
Way more prevalent than I remember. That author I was trying to think of was Scott Nicholson, if y'all know him.
Mm-mm.
He writes apocalyptic thrillers, but Kevin did all his books.
Yeah, that's a pretty common theme. Pretty, it seems to be very popular.
Yeah, okay. I mean, there's a lot of good writers in that field and all, and I never put it down. But for me, the apocalyptic literature ended with Cormac McCarthy's The Road. That's the only book you need to ever read, in my opinion, on the apocalypse. And then on the zombie side, once the original Night of the Living Dead pretty much did it all. That's the only one you need.
Yeah. Okay, so you write full time. You write full time. Now, there's a question I ask is, for other writers and other authors to get some perspective. Feel free to, get into as much as you want. Are you able to make a living off your work?
No, not at this point. I'm still trying to get there. Trying to figure out. It's like what I can't remember his dad. If you can have the best piece of work in the world, if nobody knows it exists, then it doesn't matter. So many writers have that problem, and there's so much competition. I've often said the best thing in the world about the internet is that anybody can write a book, publish it, put it online for sale.
Well,
the absolute worst thing about the internet is that anybody can write a book, publish it, and put it online for sale. So, just making people aware of the material enough that they want to buy it, and that you can make a living off of it and continue doing it. That's hard, and there's very few authors that are able to do it. And we all hope that we can. I'm working at it. I hope that I get to that point eventually, but no, not
okay. Well, you do have good reviews.
I hope you do.
It looks like your rankings were. I mean, I think you can do it. I mean, it seems like you're working hard on it. I mean, it's bound to happen.
I mean, I have. It's so hard. I'm so self-critical, and it's so hard to judge your own material. So I just have to go by what other people say, and based on some of my mentors, people I have a tremendous amount of respect. People that never have yet to give me a compliment. They say, they brag on my work and tell me, that I'm as good as anybody, and I get good reviews from readers. I've never heard anybody say that, they thought my book sucked and they didn't enjoy it. So, you take those things for what they're worth, and I don't overly believe it, but then I don't want to totally discount it either.
Yeah.
Work myself into a self-pity hole that I'm prone to get into anyway.
I mean, that feedback is valuable, right? It's very valuable, but it of course, it's not
you
money.
Have people
but
you
it's
respect. Some people will blow smoke up your ass to just tell you whatever.
Yeah.
So you have to have people that you do respect, and people that will tell you this sucks if it sucks. And,
you need.
You mean
those
like
people.
me?
Exactly. And so I've been gifted to have a good group of mentors, editors, beta readers, people that I know are going to help me make the work good and are not going to let me put something out that is laughably bad or anything. So, and does this stuff I'm writing, is it going to connect with a large audience? Are people going to enjoy it? And on a wide level. I don't know. I have a tough time writing to market. I don't think I could do it even if I tried. I like what I like, and I have to write from what I feel deeply about inside. And sometimes that may be a little bit too heady and pretentious for some people. I don't know. I don't write it for that purpose. I just write what I write and what I'm influenced by.
Gotcha. Okay.
To come out, and so we'll see. I wish I could write to market. I wish I could write like James
That's a
Patterson.
skill. That is a skill in its own right. Yeah, writing to market.
No, I can't do it. Can't do it. The stuff like the book that's coming out, The Music of Midnight, those standalones like that are much more what I'm comfortable writing and what my love is. I said, what can I write that is a little more accessible, that more people would like? And I like Thomas Harrison stuff, so maybe I could write some books like that. And that's how Marlowe Gentry was born. I never set out to write thrillers or a series. I was just trying to write something that was a little more accessible than my normal stuff. If people are interested in kind of where my head is most of the time and don't want to invest in a whole novel, they can read this short story called Sirens that comes from an anthology, the Fearful Fathoms anthology, but it's out now. It's just a single, 4,000 or 5,000 word short story that's gothic and poetic and cerebral and all of that kind of junk.
Yeah, you should really write a short for the e-sign we do. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge, poke, poke.
I don't enjoy short stories, writing them, or really reading them for that matter, a great deal. I'm not sure why. I just always have liked the long form, and short form is such.
We'll take a long one. We don't care.
Well, long form is, like 80, 90,000 words. That's
I know this.
But I don't know. I mean, I know lots of people enjoy short stories. It's just such an art you really have to focus on. There's just so few people that are good at both novels and short stories, because a lot of people, unfortunately, now think of short stories as just miniature novels. But to me, there's an art. Yeah, that's not even There's an art behind writing good short stories, and it's just not something I've ever really focused on.
Okay.
We're not picky. We'll take a long one. We don't mind.
Yeah.
I say that, but at the same time, like The Music of Midnight, there's lots of these metaphors. I don't want to get too into this because it takes a lot to explain, but The Music of Midnight is written from three perspectives, but they're all the same individual. They're written from Andy Cates, then they're written from Andy Cates as the I, the person who's trapped in the tower looking back on the life of Andy Cates, and then the third perspective is the stranger, who is also Andy Cates and the I, but seen through a metaphorical, symbolic way. And so a lot of the stranger's story is set in these different short stories that represent something about his state of being as a whole. So one talks. Sirens is actually one of those stories that comes from the book. So there's several more like that in the novel, so they can kind of be taken as their own thing.
Okay.
One resembles like one of Aesop's fables. One is about Odysseus and the Sirens. Another one, So they cross a large spectrum of things. It's a really weird book. Have any of you guys ever read House of Leaves or Coma or anything?
House of Leaves. This is like the fourth, maybe fifth time this is recommended to me.
Yeah.
I have not. Yeah. I need to.
You need to read that.
Even my own cousin has recommended it. Even Church of Failure has recommended it to me. So I have to read this book, and I've been told
it's bizarre. It's an excellent, bizarre book that really
even the way you read it, right? It's totally like
yeah. It's got stuff written in the margins and sideways, and because this guy finds these journals and these writings, and the guy's kind of going mad, and he's writing all this stuff down. So you got like three different stories going on.
Oh my God!
Book of three different individuals, but they all overlap. And so it's a brilliant book, and I hope The Music of Midnight.
Is it like the rantings of a deranged incel on like a 4chan board or something? Like what's going on here?
Part of it is this house where these pitch black pathways have started popping up and go out beyond the circumference of the building into who knows where. And I think
Like,
it's a bizarre book. Brilliant.
That reminds me of, like, so maybe think of Beetlejuice. Also think we some other things, some other references. But I gotta check this. You know what? I just need to buy a copy and read it.
You need to get it. Yeah, it's one of those books that people are going to love and think it's brilliant, or they're going to think it's pretentious garbage. You know, it's
well, there's people who do that, but do they even have an ebook version of this? Because if there's writing like in the margins and stuff, like how do they? Like,
that's a good question. I have the hardback, so
yeah, I kind of.
I
I can get a hardback. That's no problem. Just if I could read it right now. I was like, but
they got isolates in an ebook, though. I would think because it's still on the page. I mean, there's no reason why they couldn't. The writing's still on the page.
Oh,
you would have
gotcha.
to make it look like it was in the margins.
Okay, I gotta check that out.
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm not gonna let you off the hook because we were supposed to talk about embarrassing stories or horrible date nights. We even had like a thing in the Dead Man's Tome.
A date. What is that? I've heard of these things.
A date?
Yeah.
What is this? I don't know. You can't escape that. You used to be married. You were married once. You revealed that truth, unless that's not. Okay. So I'll let you pick. Do you want to do like embarrassing date story or just embarrassing story in general?
What do I have that is embarrassing? My life as a whole is pretty damn embarrassing. But
well, join the party. Welcome to the party, pal.
I mean, geez, I went from 10 years as a paralegal, doing pretty well, upper middle class, doing okay, 3 degrees and genius level IQ and all this wonderful stuff, and now I've been sick for several years, living at home with mom, so it doesn't get much more.
And you're a writer.
Yeah, it doesn't get
Jesus.
much more embarrassing.
You could be a musician. Oh, wait, you did that, right?
I did that too, yeah.
But not a drummer, though, right?
Oh, yeah, that's humiliating. You said yeah.
Is that worse than a bass player?
Oh, hell yes.
Oh, okay.
Drummers are the worst.
Oh, yeah?
Now, lead singers, we all have what those called LSD, lead singer disease.
Look at me syndrome.
Yeah, we all think we're Robert Plant or some shit.
Bass players tend to be the introverts of the group.
Yeah, that is often true, yeah. We, my last band, both our guitarist and bass player were pretty introverted. And our drummer was just had the IQ of a housefly. No, actually, the houseflies are far more intelligent than Anthony was. But very good, excellent drummer, but just not very bright. Way too much dope. And, almost every metal band I know is a little bit Spinal Tap. That's why we love that movie so much, is because all of us can relate to it. Going through so many drummers. I think we even lost one in a bizarre gardening accident, just like they did.
Oh, my God.
Well, I'm not going to let you off the hook. The question was embarrassing story. I know we got to...
I really would tell you an embarrassing story if I could think of one.
Oh, okay. Well, don't worry. I'm sure...
I can tell you one embarrassing story. Not embarrassing for me, but I got to be friends with these people named Kevin and Becky.
Oh, that's already worse. Kevin and Becky? That's what you have to say.
They were going to come through. I've never actually met them. I knew them online and stuff, and seemed like nice people and everything. So they're coming through my area, going down to vacation at the beach or something, and they
Gulf Shores, Alabama.
Yeah, and they want to meet up, so that's okay. So they get close and they call and invite me to come to their hotel.
Becky, is this you?
Shut up, Jesse.
That would be a yes.
They invite me to come and meet them at their hotel room, and I'm like, yeah,
tell.
I don't
remember that part of it.
I don't think that's going to happen. So
I don't remember that part of it.
Yeah,
I remember
you first invited me to the hotel. And
I did?
You
Me?
did.
No.
You
Is
didn't
this
even
when you asked him
try
where
it,
you could
but
get a large supply of surgical tubing?
Oh, for God's sake. No.
Exactly. And I'm like, I may never make it back home if I meet these strange people at a hotel room somewhere. So we had a nice meal, and it was really nice. Enjoyed meeting them, and they weren't nearly
as scary as he
crazy
thought
as I
we
thought
were.
they would. Yeah.
But I did talk his ear off.
Yeah, and the S&M turned out to be really fun. So.
You weren't supposed to tell that part.
Oh, come on.
Maybe
Watch
he
it
means
yourself.
Shakespeare and Marlowe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shakespeare and Marlowe.
That's it. Oh, you wait.
What was the safe word? Was there a safe word?
There wasn't one.
The safe word now.
That's how you know it's the real deal. There's no safe word. Sign this form. That's all you need.
I ran screaming from the room, so I guess that counts.
You did not.
Oh, shit. She brought out the strap on. That's what happened.
Actually, it was a paddle, wasn't it? No, I'm just kidding.
A paddle and a strap on? Jesus. Becky.
What?
No, don't change. That's fine. Makes for good stories. That's
Listen, I've read the police report, and I'm just going to stay out of it.
That's good, because if you don't, you'll be next.
Ooh. So note to self, if Becky invites you to a hotel, do not
You're gonna
accept.
No, dinner. It's dinner.
Oh, dinner.
Dinner.
That's the code word.
Dinner and a show.
Is
Yeah.
dinner and a show is the safe word.
Oh.
You're going to need 6 large garbage bags. Plenty of ice.
And a jar of Vaseline. And we're not telling you what any of it's for.
And 3 gallons of Clorox.
and 1 box of Band-Aids.
And a really good alibi for all of this. Jesus Christ.
That's the one I always forget. That's the alibi. Yeah.
What's that? Yeah.
Becky, what about you? You got an embarrassing story? I mean,
Oh my God.
we share embarrassing stories all the time, just about every other day. You know,
We do.
I feel like every stream is an embarrassing story, one way or the other. I guess embarrassing story, you know, bad date, nightmare date night or something.
I married it
Oh,
at one point in time.
you married it, like the cousin it?
No, damn it.
Oh,
The horrible date.
oh, okay. Disappointed.
Was it
But
okay?
I also divorced it, so
Oh.
you know.
And then married it again, and then divorced it again, and then married it again.
And then
Is that-
divorced it again and again and again and again.
How many times did you divorce and marry the same guy?
Twice.
Are you sure?
Wow.
Wait, are you true? What? Is that real? What?
Yeah.
You divorced him
Yeah.
twice? Oh, wow.
She was like,
Man.
maybe we can get it right. Maybe we can get it right the second time around.
Yeah.
No,
Man.
we did not. At all.
Man.
No.
You know,
No.
it didn't work out the first time, but I think things will be better now. Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
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 Look, anyone listening made it this far.
There's at least one case in human history where that may have happened, but I don't know what it is.
Yeah, me neither.
I don't think anybody knows what
you know,
it is. Yeah.
This
But I mean,
stupid.
statistically speaking, it had to have worked out at least once.
Well, you know what the writer...
I don't think so.
Ambrose Bierce wrote the Devil's Lexicon and Devil's Dictionary, and he had
Right.
a definition for marriage was 2 people voluntarily coming together for their mutual destruction. And I think that pretty much nails it right there.
That's pretty much it. I mean, I'm married. I'm pretty happy with it. But would I recommend it to everyone else or anyone else? It's like, well, nope. Maybe. Like, what do you want? What do you want? Do you want freedom? Do you want to be free, or do you not want to be free? What do you want? What do you want? What do you want? Because you want someone to split the bills with you, you can find a roommate. You know.
Look, yeah. In my opinion and experience, marriage is important for raising children.
Yes, that's very important.
If you don't have kids and you're not going to have kids, then marriage is a outdated institution
really
of chattel, basically.
The only reason to have kids, though, is in case of like, an apocalypse, and you run out of food and need something to eat. That's really the only reason to have kids.
Would I eat my kids? Man, that would be so hard. Like,
They taste like chicken.
I heard they taste like pig.
You would never eat your daughter. You hush.
No.
No, in all seriousness, I screwed up.
Yeah.
My marriage. I take full blame for that. I was young and stupid and had delusions of grandeur and all of that. So yeah. Then I just figured out after that some people are just meant to be alone. I get along with people a lot better when I'm not around them.
Took my oldest sister 3 marriages to figure out she wasn't meant to be married. She wasn't good at it.
I wasn't the one that wasn't good at it. That was the problem.
Oh.
Yeah, but it only takes one of the partners to not be good at it.
Yes, I understand this. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you tried again.
Well, I mean, it takes commitment and concessions and responsibility, and
and it's so hard. I mean, you gotta. There's what was it, like 4 pillars in a relationship? You have finances, religion, child rearing, and what I guess being faithful.
And that's just what you have to teach your husband.
I'm a liberal, atheist, misanthropic, artsy-fartsy, self-centered kind of guy.
You are not self-centered.
I'm not self-centered in the way that I don't care about other people. I'm maybe self-centered isn't the right word. I am, the best way of saying it is I fear the future, I regret the past, and I don't know, the present's kind of sucking at the moment too. So, what do you got to offer when that's your attitude?
Yeah. Yes.
That took kind of a dark turn all of a sudden.
Yeah, it did. It did.
No.
But I could brighten it up a little bit with embarrassing stories. I could throw one in there.
Oh God.
Another one. Jesus Christ, this would be a train wreck. It was kind of like a date thing, but not a date thing. I guess you say I was in a relationship with this girl at the time in high school. I guess it was supposed to be a date night. Okay, here is the long and short of it. I planned to hang out with my friends and pretty much play video games all night, whatever. And a game that we really wanted to play was multiplayer, all this stuff. We're gonna have a lot of fun. Okay, now this girl I was seeing, and she lives like in a far. So I lived in. Let's just say I lived in. I'll just say I lived in Pearland at the time, and she lived in Sugarland, which is not.
Oh my God, that means nothing to me.
Oh,
how far is it?
It's like it could be like 45 minutes. It's kind of a drive.
There's been some movies made on Sugarland, isn't there? Isn't that like a famous?
Yeah,
is Sugarland a famous place?
Sugarland has a lot of basketball players. A lot of the Rockets live in Sugarland.
Oh, okay.
Some of them do. Anyway, so that night, actually, when my friends were coming over, we're gonna play some games. she calls me up and says, "Hey, my parents."
How old are you at this time, roughly?
I think I'm 16, 17.
Oh,
yeah.
okay. So really stupid still.
Yeah, I could drive.
Yeah,
but
I gotcha.
Still pretty stupid.
I gotcha.
Yeah. So she calls me up and lets me know, "Hey, guess what?" I'm like, "What?" "My parents aren't home." It's like, "Oh," and she's like, "They're gone for like the whole weekend." I'm like, "Oh." She's like, "Yeah, if you want to come over, that'd be great." And I'm thinking, "Oh shit, this could be like a whole night of maybe 3 days of, right?"
Of what? Watching
Getting laid.
I don't know.
rom-coms?
Yeah, sure. I don't know.
Laid.
I was thinking that. I
remember
thinking,
that.
I was
remember
thinking
This sounds
that.
like the plot line to This sounds like the plot line to Weekend at Bernie's to me.
No.
It gets better.
It gets better. This next part wasn't part of the plot. So instead
now
of
you have a dilemma, right?
I have a dilemma. So do I drive 40? Do I cancel the whole event or whatever and drive 45 minutes to an address I don't even really remember? And here's the thing. So this is before like social media, and I call her up, and like she already hounded me once by not remembering her address, being like, "You're so forgetful. You don't think about me. You didn't even call me when it was my birthday." I was like, "It was your birthday?" I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
So I was like, and after the phone hung up, I was like, "Oh shit, I don't even know her address. I don't even. Oh damn it! Now I'm gonna have to call her up and ask her what her address is." And I was like, just thinking in my head how bad that conversation is gonna be. So I was like, you know what? I'm not even dealing with that. I'm just gonna stay here, play some video games, and that's what I did.
Rather than have an uncomfortable conversation.
That could have actually went. I mean, I don't know how would have ended. I would say the night for me actually ended pretty well. I mean, I did enjoy the night. It was cool. You played games and all that, but
Got your high score and everything.
yeah,
Ooh.
right. Got the high score I was trying to achieve, but someone else in that situation might be like, I don't know, man. I would take that call. Get that address and go spend some time.
Yeah, and when you're in those kinds of situations, you don't always think of the ways, like the next day or a week later, you go, "Oh, I know I could have done."
Yeah.
But in the moment, you can't think of it.
I'm adverse to the inevitable end, and I start out from the moment of conception fearing the inevitable end, because everything's going to end, whether the partner or you die or divorce or something. It's going to end eventually, and so I go right to the breakup before I've even gone on the first date. I'm like, why bother? I'm going to spend all this money, all this time, all this effort on this relationship, and somebody's going to freaking die. So
Every relationship ends one way or another.
exactly.
Yep.
So
That doesn't mean it's not worth it.
And the more you invest in it, the more painful it's going to be when it finally ends.
But
I mean, if you have life insurance, though, if you die, hopefully that should help out your family.
Okay, that goes into intent. Now we're questioning why we're getting married.
Yeah.
Are we getting married for the security of somebody taking care of us, for money, for the sex? Well, the sex is going to be the first thing to go. If you're getting married for sex, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
That's the first thing that's gone.
That is. Yep. I mean, you want to see my hooker bill?
I could see marrying for security, especially in a community state where you get half if you divorce automatically. That's probably a smart move. Yeah, I'd look at that like an investment in like mutual funds or something.
Dallas Mullican.
That's cool. I like that.
Oh.
darling, we've been seeing each other for 6 months, and I think that we make a great merger proposition.
called the Anna Nicole Smith.
I've got the spreadsheets here that show our return on investment potential over the course of the next 10 years, and I think it's worth looking at.
A prenup? Nah, prenup? Nah, we don't need that. I love you.
Yes.
We'll be together forever.
Oh, yes.
No prenup.
Uh-huh. Jeff Bezos didn't have a prenup, and he lost half.
He didn't one.
I mean,
We're having a custody battle. Neither one of us wants the kids.
God.
Can the state have them?
Really? I hear the foster system is really improved.
You're like, and even to say, well, you be paying child support to the state. Fine. How much is that? You know, like.
I mean, yeah.
Just find some really good babies.
$27.
And don't pick them up.
Mm-hmm.
Be sure to spay and neuter your human.
I vote for the neutering.
Hey, SK, what about you? You got an embarrassing story?
I need to check my non-disclosure agreements.
Yeah, that's why I'm mad at y'all. Here, I'm gonna have to listen back to this, but this has been a very friendly, engaging, fun conversation, and I have forgotten that I'm being broadcast and recorded at certain times.
That's what the show is about. That's the winning
let
quality
your
of the
guard
show.
down.
That's terrifying. Really.
It's not terrifying. It's not terrifying. You didn't.
Did I say anything?
No. You did not say anything.
We would have told you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Oh.
And I have, I would have stopped
Haven't
you.
confessed like any felonies or anything?
No. Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet. If anything,
There's still time.
you know what, Mr. Mullican, Dallas. If anything, talking to you here is like, I don't know. Maybe this takes me back to the days, like, I guess talking to certain friends of mine that were like very, I don't know, they were into the whole existential thing. Oddly enough, the same friend that had Crohn's disease, and it was like, we would have long conversations about abstract things.
Brother, I haven't seen you in forever.
Yeah. Right?
God dang it.
I don't want to put you on the spot. I don't want to put you on the spot. You don't have to say anything. That's fine. I don't want to put you on the spot. But we're going to have a 24-hour stream towards the end of this month. And if you were to jump on, if you could, like in the late hours of it, when sleep deprivation is definitely hitting in and all the crazy thoughts are coming out. If you were to
doing 25, you want me on the show, and it's only on for 24 hours. Who else is going to get to talk?
Nobody. That's the whole point. We want you on.
No, see, Becky and SK are going to get it to where my guard is down, sleep deprivation hits, I'm delusional, and all of a sudden, maybe you pop in, maybe someone else.
That's every show.
Oh, right.
Yeah, how's this going to be different?
I don't know.
Delusions are good things. Illusions are the bad things.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wait. Is the purple dragon I see, is that an illusion or is that a delusion?
And especially how are these delusions being induced?
Is he guarding your liquor?
The purple dragon is not guarding my liquor. In fact, he's giving me more liquor.
Then you'll be fine.
He's like, you're out of Kraken. You're out of the Kraken.
What?
Have Malibu. I'm like, okay, I'll have Malibu.
Oh, Jesus.
I don't even get to drink or do drugs anymore, and sobriety sucks. It really does. I mean, I know everybody's like, 20 years sober, that's awesome, so proud of you. Yeah, fuck you. It's awful. I hate it. It's doggone. Inebriation's awesome.
It is. It's fun. It can be. Of course, I have kids, so I don't want my young kids to see me.
All the more reason to drink.
It kind of is.
Have you ever got like a 4-year-old drunk? It is hilarious.
Oh, actually, there's a story to that. I'll tell that another time. SK, I'll let you off the hook.
a good tab of acid in a 4-year-old. That's even funnier.
Oh fuck!
God.
Oh my god!
I guess the most embarrassing thing for me is that when I get drunk, I write poetry.
Oh yeah.
Yes,
bad.
you do.
Really, really bad poetry that you think is very good poetry.
Actually, this might be some of the best things.
Actually, it was good.
Might be the best thing
really?
he's ever written. Actually.
Quite possible.
So
Yeah. And that just
poetry is a touchy subject to me because I love poetry, and I studied it in college, and I fell in love with all the greats of Y.B. Yeats and Keats.
Well, don't read mine; you'll hate it.
But there's people today who claim to write poetry who basically are just mentally and emotionally vomiting onto a page, and it has there's no poetry involved. And so they don't seem to know the difference. And then you have the other sect of people who say they like to write it, but they don't understand it. They can't read it. So how can you write poetry if you can't read it and understand it?
Well, you touch on a point that I've just largely stopped reading it because most of the stuff that I find is just unbearable.
But I blame it on Walt Whitman. I mean, Walt Whitman was he's a fantastic poet, but that whole blank free verse stuff where you no longer had to follow any kind of rules of rhyme or rhythm or anything, and people could just start writing whatever the hell they wanted to and calling it poetry. I think the art forms collapsed and suffered greatly. Again, I'm a snob.
Well,
No, you're not. You just know what you like.
There's nothing wrong with that.
That's the definition of a snob.
The difference is no, I don't. Yes, I know what I like, but I'm a snob because I know what everyone else should like.
Right.
And I know what I know stuff that people like that they're just, no. How? Come on.
Okay. Now, before we wrap up, he's about to wrap up real fast. We're having a conversation in the chat about, I guess, foods I'd be eating during the 24-hour stream. Would you eat roaches? I'm just curious. Would you eat a fried roach?
Fuck no.
No, God no. Are you out of your mind?
I know that's crazy. But would you eat fried crickets?
No.
No.
The fact that you asked the question means you have thought about it. You couldn't ask the question unless you had thought about it.
I read it. But I did think about eating, like, was it fried? Oh, someone mentioned snails. Oh, fried frog legs. That's good. That's
absolutely
good
not.
Now, frog legs are actually very tasty.
Yeah, they're delicious.
They are. They really are. Tastes like chicken.
Yeah, they
really
do.
Anything
also, gator.
that I put in the pan and it kicks still is not going in my mouth.
No, you gig them.
Wait,
like trident
you put things in your mouth that kick? What are you talking about?
Shut up, Jesse.
You're eating like fish. Fish are just like frogs. They flop around and stuff.
Yeah.
No, I mean after they're dead and skinned and all kinds of stuff. If you cook them if you fry them in the skillet, they'll kick the lid off.
Hold on there, high and mighty. Hold on there, high and mighty Becky.
I'm not high and mighty. I'm just not eating them.
No, hold on. Do you eat crawfish?
No.
Oh well, you guys. I guess you caught me there. I guess you stopped me there.
You were actually saying, Becky, you're trying to make people believe you have never sucked heads.
You never sucked head?
No. Not crawfish ones.
Oh man. Oh, this the show.
Pretty much every bathroom wall from here to Ohio was lying then.
Okay. Yeah. Becky.
It wasn't Ohio. It was Georgia.
Oh man. Okay. I probably need to end the show now before we get even more raunchy. Holy hell. Ladies and gentlemen, Deadman Stone Podcast. Kelly, thank you so much for chatting it up in the chat. I know there's a few other people. Yeah, if you made it this far, smash the like button, share to someone, share to anyone. I don't care who. You could share to maybe your mom or someone else be like, you can't believe what these people were talking about crazy stuff.
Right.
Great. And have them suck.
And thanks, Dee. We love you.
Mm-hmm. Dallas.
And
great.
tomorrow
we have Real Monsters with SK. What else?
we have we have Real Monsters with special guest Kelly Evans.
Kelly! Yay!
It's going to be a great show. Talking about one of the worst serial killers in American history, and it was a woman.
And the stream
and it's not me.
Ooh.
Right.
It's
yeah.
not you
got to get your numbers up, Becky.
The transformation, Cleese Fagan made for that role is amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
All right. Make her
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying, if you can make her ugly, then that you deserve a Oscar for makeup.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Right.
That's for sure. Well, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for listening. Y'all take it.